Welcome to Just to Know You, the podcast that interviews regular people at SAES and finds out they are far from regular.
That's right. I'm your host, Darian Batten.
And I'm Angela Kerskaden.
Let's get started.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Just to Know You. We are so excited. We have a teacher from a new school today. We have the Daran Daycare School being represented, and we have Paola. And how do I pronounce your last name?
It's Paola. I know it's hard because it's two big vowels together, and that's hard for you guys.
And then your last name?
It's Paola. Torres.
Torres. Okay, perfect.
Actually, my full name is very long, so you want me to
Yeah,
say it?
let's hear it.
It's Paola Maria Torres Fontecha.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, that's my full name, and like here we just use the first name and the first last name.
Right.
But in Latin America, most of us we have two names and two last names.
Very cool. Well, welcome. You've already taught us a little bit about yourself, so tell me, where do you come from?
I am from Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
My husband is as well. We came here 3 years ago. So, and it's directly from Colombia. We haven't lived in any other place. Well, we live in the States for a while, but a long time ago. So this is like our first abroad experience.
Wonderful. And you have children?
I have two. Emilia, she's 8 years old, and Agustin, he's 4.
Wonderful. Very cool. So you didn't have, your child is 4, so you would have had him in Colombia before you came here?
Yes, exactly. He came here 1 year old.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. So tell me about where you come from. So what city were you born in, and did you live in one place your whole life, or did you move around in your childhood?
I come from Bogota. That's the capital city of Colombia. I didn't move at all. Like I was in Bogota my whole childhood and my whole college years. I was there always. My first travel abroad was when I was like 17 or 18 years old. My mom desperately wanted to travel to the States, so that was the first place we visit, and we end up living in the States like 4 months because my mom liked to travel around and she had some church buddies, and we end up going to the East Coast. We live in Alexandria, Virginia, and then we went to North Carolina, and then we end up in Florida. We live around here and there, and then we come back to Colombia.
What was it like for you as a 17-year-old who had never left Colombia to go to America?
I was so mad because of that trip. I lost my senior year. In Colombia, we have only to 11th grade, and we travel at the beginning of my 11th grade. And I was so mad, but my mom was so convinced that will give me tools and the language and a lot of this. But I really suffered at the beginning. The last 2 months of that travel was very nice because the last 2 months I went to like a summer camp. And it was church related. It was with one of these things that you guys have is I'm sorry, I'm saying you guys like I'm assuming you're from the States. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'm from Canada, just for the record.
Okay. And in the States they have these YMCA centers.
Yeah.
So I went to one of those summer camps in the YMCA, and I have a blast. So it was one of the best experience for a teenager. And at the end, I wasn't so mad. But when I came back, I was so depressed because all my friends were already signed up. I couldn't catch them. So I had to wait 6 months to start my year again. And I end up graduating later than them. So, yeah, I was mad, sad.
Sure. Yeah, for a teenager, those years are really, really important to them, and your friends, and and everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suffer a little bit. I think I'm a little resentful with my mom about that. Like, I could have learned English any other way.
Yeah.
But you know what? At the end of the day, I truly believe that we are in the place we needed to be at that
Yeah.
exact moment. Like then I went. I if I stay in that year, all my friends went to become lawyers in Colombia,
Hmm.
and I truly didn't want to do that. But I'm pretty sure the kind of girl I was, I would have become a lawyer just because I was part of this group that they all dream about becoming lawyers, but I didn't really wanted to do that. So thanks to that trip, I get like a little. I put space between us, and
Hmm.
I was able to make my own decision about what do I really wanted to study and major on. So I end up studying philosophy and political science. So like I'm really grateful for that because that trip allowed me to put distance, and maybe I really don't have lawyer material, so
It takes a special kind of person to do that
yes.
job. Tell me about your like family growing up. Did you have siblings, and what was your parents' occupations?
Actually, I'm a only child. My mom, she was a single mom. So she just one day she decided she wanted a child, and she went out there and got me. So we were like the two of us against the world, and it was like super fun. My mom always made sure that I had plenty of activities to do. She was enrolling me in every single club she could find. I did everything as a child. I learned so many things. Like I was jumping from one sport to another. I was doing theater, and I was doing literacy club, and I was playing and singing and rollerblading and like playing volleyball. I did many things. Um, so yeah, my mom really kept me busy.
Now, and tell me about the culture of Colombia. Was a single mom like? Is it a very progressive society where that's very like common, and or was this were you kind of an anomaly in terms of family structure?
As I would say that Colombia has grown because I don't know, maybe 30 years ago it wasn't easy at all. Even like as a single mom, she cannot give me her full last names. In Colombia, it's very like most of the people have two last names. But if you are a single mom, back then, 30 years ago, you could only give your child one last name. So everybody knew because of your last name,
Interesting.
everybody knew that you are a single mom child. And that was very like a label.
When I think about kind of your past, and I think about your mom was a single mother, and how you must have done a lot of like kind of growing up on your own, or you've had some time where maybe you were without a grown up, or was there anything that ever was there an event or a person in your life who has really shaped who you are today?
Okay, definitely. Yes, I had to grow up like a little bit fast and a little bit alone because I was especially during my the school years, the junior and the high school years, most of my time I was spending it alone. That's why the reason I
Yeah.
started working in the daycare I told you about, that at the beginning they
Yeah.
were giving me lunch because like there was a place for me to eat my lunch fresh and warm. um, but then I was doing so much work with the kids in the afternoons that they started giving me the lunch for free. So it was like a good thing for me. And definitely that place shaped my life a little bit because I get in touch with so many moms. This daycare I used to work was a governmental daycare. So the moms get to have access to these places. The government provides the food, but the communitarian mothers, that is the actual name. These ladies that run these daycares, they are called communitarian moms, and they get to have this food that the government provides, but no salary at all. The only salary they were receiving was the amount of fees that they were charging the moms. But these kind of places are in some specific areas in the city where the population is very poor, so the amount of money that they were able to charge was almost nothing. So this was like a very cooperative place, like people were trying to do change some kind of trading, change things. So I cannot pay you this month for my kids tuition fee, but I will come every weekend and I will do your laundry or I will do your ironing. That was the kind of
Mm,
trade that I get to see every
really?
day. And I knew these moms were working and were trying very hard. But the thing is, either they pay for the kids tuition, that it was like very cheap, or they feed their other kids, the kids, like elder kids that cannot be in these places where the government provide food. So yeah, I get to see like in a very early age how working moms struggle every day with the everyday care of the kids and the providing for food. And it really give me a window to the less privileged people in Colombia.
It's interesting because I feel like when I became a mother, I understood what my parents had done for me. And it wasn't until I had experienced that with my daughters that I had the full appreciation for my mother. Now that came out, when I was older, but you said that you were working in the daycare when you were like how old were you?
12
You were 12.
12 years old,
Okay.
12 to 16, imagine.
So
So
did you at that age have that same kind of like revelation about, because your mom was one of those working mothers, right? Did you have that full appreciation of what a single mom, your mom, had done for you as a baby?
I don't think as a teenager I get to realize
Mm.
that thing on my own mom. It allowed me to see the world outside, and to have a feel empathy for others. But I have my own quarrels with my mom back then. So it was hard for me. She was like, okay, you just need a place to dump me or to leave me because you're so busy and you don't understand me because you are always busy and you don't have time to chat with me or to have to truly get to know me.
Yeah.
So at that moment, I cannot say that at that specific moment I get to realize, oh, my mom is working so hard and she's doing all of this. So for my own benefit. No, to be true, no. It took me more years to realize that.
Now in present day, do you and your mom ever talk about those days, or do you kind of not relive them?
We talk about it, and for her, she's very thankful for that place because she says that place keep me out of trouble. We used to live in a neighborhood that wasn't like all safe and all secure. Like for me, it was very easy to have access to not so good things.
Yeah, sure.
But I was busy. I was busy in the daycare. I was busy planning things for the kids,
Yeah.
cutting here, painting. I was busy seeing all these moms because there's a lot of teenager moms in Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
So I was busy seeing these girls that were a little bit older than me,
Yeah.
running through life with kids and with major responsibilities. So it really kept me in a safe place.
Now, as
And
an adult, do you appreciate what your mom did by making you work
of
there? Yeah.
course, of course I do.
Yeah.
Like I truly understand what she want. Everything she did was her best choice.
Yeah.
Her best choice was to keep me safe, to feed me, to
Sure, sure. She was just trying to be a good mom, right?
exactly.
So growing up like the way you did, and like you said, there were times when you were kind of like on your own and with it just being your mom. As a coach, I used to ask people this, and so now I'm interested in asking you: do you trust people first when you, or are you a trust is earned person?
I will say I when I trust someone, I truly trust. It's not easy because it's just I think I don't open to anybody. So when I open, I'm all open.
Hmm.
It's not and I it's not that I select people, it's just that you got this feeling with with this person you can truly be yourself on or not. And if I don't get the feeling, I got this feeling. I'm very instinct, like it's if I had the feeling, I will be open
Yeah.
and I will share my whole self.
Hmm.
I don't have a lot of friends, but the ones I have, they are they are like to die for.
That's interesting. I was just thinking about how much of that, like trust. You, so, in other words, I think you're saying you're a trust is earned person,
Okay.
and how much of that is cultural. Like this is just a side note story. When we first arrived, we bought our car from a family from Colombia that was leaving, and the man came to our house. And we handed him a stack of cash. We paid in cash. And so it was a big pile. And he said, "Can I come in to count it?" And for me, culturally, I was like, "You can trust us. We've given you the money." And he goes, "I don't want you, if you didn't count it right, I don't, and if I go home and I say there's some missing, then you won't trust me." And I was like, "No, oh, sure, come in." So he sat at our kitchen table and he counted this big stack of money. I mean, it wasn't that expensive of a car, but I just thought that was really like kind of interesting because I was
It
like,
is. It is. Definitely in Colombia, we don't go we don't go open it our homes or our selves to everyone. And Colombia is this magical place where everything can happen. But everything means everything.
yeah,
Since like from the meanest drug lord we have ever seen to this wonderful writer that wrote 100 Years of Solitude, and he won a Nobel Prize for it. Like, and we even have a Nobel Prize, and we have so many different kinds of people, but anything can happen. And we grew up believing that. So you can trust someone, but that same person can steal from you.
sure,
So
interesting.
it's better not to completely trust. So even with your friends, or you are very like in money things, we are very okay. Here's where we set the
Business,
line,
right?
and this is business. We're not friends for in this moment. We are doing
Yeah.
we don't shake hands. We sign
Ah,
things.
interesting. It's funny when I was watching you, you were talking about with the first time you mentioned Colombia, your face kind of like for the listeners that because we don't videotape the screen here, but your face like looked up in the sky and you kind of like lit up when when you talked about Colombia at first. It seems like it holds like a super special place in your heart.
It is.
Good. So when you think back on all the things that you've accomplished, what is something that you are proud of?
When I started studying in college, I went to a public university. But at that time, the university didn't allow us to get double majors. So, and I wanted to have a double major. So I remember I had to go to another university to find my double major. I was studying philosophy, I wanted to study political science. And I was in a public university, and Uh, then I had to go, as my mother has a military background. I went to the military school, like the college for military
Yeah.
people, and I went there and I was studying my political science major there. So I was attending two different college at the same time,
Wow.
but they are extremely different. Like, you cannot believe how different they are, because this is military people that they are very strict, and they have these right wing views and policies. And I, in the other hand, where I was studying philosophy, is this left wing university where everybody's like free to do and say, and there's images in the mayor of the university. There's a picture of the Che Guevara. That is a big revolutionary guy. So that environment versus the other one, that was, and I had to deal with it. I had to move from I was studying in the morning in one place and in the afternoon in the other one, and I was like moving into these two completely worlds. And people couldn't believe, like, oh, you're from Nacional, wow, you must be someone very bad. And I was, no, I'm not. I'm here. I don't like, I don't do bad things. I don't go in the street like destroying things or anything. But the same happened in the other place. Like, oh, you go to the Universidad Militar. Oh, you must be very bad, and you talk to all these military and they are murderers and blah, blah, blah. And it was, no, they are not. Like, there's good people there too,
Yeah.
and everybody's just trying to live their lives the best they can. So it was and then I was working, back then I was working in a gay bar. So in the afternoons, all my nights I spent, from Wednesday to Saturday, I spent bartending in this
Was it
place.
like a secret bar, like, or was it open, like people knew about it?
It's like, gay community, they knew about it.
Mm-hmm.
But from the outside you cannot tell it's a gay bar. But like, we have in Bogota, we have like these areas where where gay community all they can get together and be safe around those areas. But if they go out of those places, it's not as safe
Mm.
for them. So this place was not in that area.
Okay.
So in the outside, it cannot look like that
Yeah.
at all. But boys to boys, they spread the word, and a lot of people was coming.
Yeah.
So they came in very serious, and inside totally different.
Yeah.
So, and I was moving in all these words, because even the left wing or the right wing, people is pretty homophobic in Colombia still. So it was like, I had to deal with all these what do you call it, like pre-notions or preconceptions about life,
Yeah.
and about how the other is, because for them it's the others, the enemy, the ones that don't think like us.
So how do you deal with that? Are you a like bite your tongue, don't say your opinion kind of harmony person, or are you like, no, I'm going to change your mind. Let me tell you about the other people and how, let me try to
I'm
create peace here.
I will try. I will try
You
always to
do.
change your mind about it. Like, no, I know a case. Like, whenever someone was saying, "Oh, I know those people are bad because blah 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 blah," I will say, "No, I know someone that is not like that," or "No, I don't believe you because this is my case," or "This is
Good for you.
no, I think."
I'm kind of the opposite. Like if I'm talking to somebody and they're like, if they have some kind of like conspiracy theory about the world or something, in my opinion, that it is, I'm like, I am never going to change your mind. And so I'm like, and so I just kind of like leave it because I don't know. It's hard. I admire you for trying to.
It is super hard, and especially Colombia. 4 years ago, we went on this major peace agreement we made peace. The government made peace with the biggest revolutionary group that was active in Colombia.
What year is this?
It's 2010,
Okay.
2000, no, later, 2016,
Okay.
14. Like it last. I was starting my years in my master degree, so that was 2012, and the peace agreement finally came through like 2006, 17. Yeah, it was like four years.
Okay.
They were negotiating, um, and when the agreement was finally there, the parts signed it up. They put it out for the people to vote on it if they allowed that, because the government cannot do such major changes if they have not the popular support. So they put it out for the people to do a vote on it, similar to what they did in Ireland.
Yes.
And in Colombia, they ask one simple question: do you agree with the peace agreement? Yes or no?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And people vote no.
Oh.
And no was the option that won.
And how did you feel about that?
Oh, I remember that day I felt worse than like a major breakup, like I felt completely hopeless, and I cry, and I remember I was already married, and we sit with my husband, and we said, this cannot be happening. What is the matter with people? We have been killing each other for 70 years. We cannot keep doing it. At the end, like this agreement had such support from the international community. The government managed to sideways the popular opinion, and they came through with it. But it's still a struggle in Colombia, that thing. And there's still people that will say it's the worst thing we could ever have done, because now we have all these guerrilleros, people that used to have arms and fighting the government, that is now sitting in the Congress and earning these big salaries, and that's a shame, and that's so unfair, and we cannot allow that. And I keep telling people, good that he's there earning some money and not out there killing people.
Sure. Yeah.
So
the peace agreement eventually came. So
it came through.
Okay,
yes.
So it was denied in 2016. And then how long has this?
Like in the 2018, they made a few changes to the original text, and that way, that moment, they didn't put it to the popular opinion. They just took it to Congress, and it was on the congressmen and women to sign it up or approve it. And they did they did what they had to do. One of the major things was that all these groups and their leaders, the ones that were leaving the arms behind, they get to have seats in the Congress and in the Parliament.
Do you consider yourself political?
I am very political.
Yeah. Well, you have a political science degree, right?
I do.
Yeah. So
yes.
it's something that interests you.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
What is it about politics that's interesting to you?
For me, it's something that you cannot hide from.
Yeah.
Politics runs through life. And even if you say, I'm not interested in that, I don't want to know, I don't want to participate, every year, every day, you pay taxes.
Yeah.
It's something that comes out of your own pocket. And like, people is putting their hands in your pocket, and you don't care what they are doing with that money.
Yeah. I mean, like, are you
for
political enough where you like go to marches and stuff? Do you?
I do.
Good for you.
I'm very, very, like, I hate when things get uh, violent
Sure.
on because it's like not my thing. I am the first one to run away, but I'm always there, first-handed. I'm like, I learned it from my first years back in college. I was going out for the Day of the Fallen Student because Latin America has a big history of military killing students in big marches. So you have to be there. Like, you have to show some kind of support. So in Colombia, we do a big, big, big street demonstration in Women's Day, for example, and it's massive. Everybody goes out. It's so beautiful, like seeing all these people, and we don't look alike. We don't even believe the same thing. Like, if you put our whole core of values, we don't match in everything. It's just one this simple thing that we share, and is women deserve to be paid the same, or women deserve to be out there without they having to have a permission from the husband. Women deserve to have a choice about their body choices. uh, like, any of those things that we agree on, it's worth knowing that there's a community out there that believes the same as you,
Yeah.
and it gives you strength, and it gives you hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Who is somebody that you admire?
Back in Colombia, there is this she's a writer. Her name is Velia Duran. She has in the Pacific area, she has a school, and she has always defend the right to black people educate her own black people. Like, she says that they cannot follow a white system, a system that is imposed from the capital, that doesn't know the necessities of the area, that doesn't know how people is getting by, how people is doing to survive in their habitat, let's say.
No, I
And
agree. I mean, that's super.
so they need like the solutions, they need to come from within.
Yeah.
They are the ones to have to be in
Yeah.
charge. So she's a very big advocate of, let us govern ourselves. We need to stop this, because all these policies about people coming to tell you exactly what you need to do it right
Yeah.
this time. So no, that's not gonna work. We want your money, of course. We want your money. We need it.
Yeah.
But let us decide what to do with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's
And
an important step to keep cultures, right? And because you said they're from a different part of Colombia, like the Pacific.
yeah, the Pacific area.
Yeah.
And we have in Colombia, what, like I was telling you, Colombia is this wonderful place that anything can happen.
Yeah.
And it's so big.
Yeah.
And you can have a representation of every type of person. Did you see the Encanto movie?
Yeah.
Well, I think for me that movie, it's like the perfect example. The family, the Maribel's family, you can see every skin color in that family.
Oh. Yeah, interesting. I didn't notice that.
Did
But that's similar in Colombia.
Yeah, it is like
Yeah.
that. Like, you can find every single color and everything. We have everything, and that's amazing. But
Do you ever experience much racism there? If it's.
I will say yes, for sure. Yes, even like 5 years ago, they had to fight. The black community have to fight some comedy program on TV because they were doing blackface.
When was this?
And
Recently?
5 years ago.
Oh.
Like, come on. And the show was so popular, you couldn't believe. And they have to do like a big thing. The National Justice Court have to a silence, like shut down the program because they didn't want to go. They tried like saying, hey, that's offensive, hey, stop doing it, and they refuse. No, it's so popular, we're not hurting anyone, we're telling the truth, it's just humor, like, no, it's not. So yes, Colombia has a very hard relationship with racial stuff, I will say yes. And it's weird because we have a huge um, community, a black community, indigenous people. We are a mix of everything. Like,
Doesn't make
it's
sense. It
weird.
doesn't make
Exactly. It's like,
sense. Um, you've been so generous with your time, and so I won't keep you for too much longer. But I do have a question that I wrote down. When you talked about your country, you said when they didn't sign the peace agreement, you cried and you cried. And I did have a question written down, and kind of maybe besides like politics and like passions towards your country, what is something that always kind of strikes your heart and like would make you cry?
it is definitely the inability for us as a society to notice underprivileged, the ones in Colombia. There is a popular saying that the poor is poor because it chose they wanted to be poor. And for me, that's I don't know, something very bad has come over every single people that believe that.
Yeah.
It's not because the people who wants to be poor, come on.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to feed their child. It's not that people wants to be rich, like, because it's this, like, they want to be easy rich, and that's why we have all these drug dealers in Colombia. It's not real. People just want to feed their children.
Yeah.
People just want to have something to share with their family. It's not real that they are choosing to suffer. And the other day, I was listening one of your first podcast, and you talk about happiness and how to be like how to embrace happiness, how to discover the magical formula. To this is the way where if you do this, then you can be a happier person. And then I thought, in Colombia, people actually believe that we are the most happiest place on earth, and that our people is the happiest on earth. And they truly believe. And you go to the poorest regions, to the desolated, to where no government, no officers, no health insurance, no nothing. And you go there, and on a Friday night or on a Friday afternoon, a people is in the street talking to each other, talking to the neighbors.
And they're happy.
They are happy. And maybe it's easier to be happy when there's so much suffering around you. You see happiness and you grab it and you enjoy that moment because it's not gonna last. Tomorrow morning, they might be something out there that is gonna kill your happiness right there. But now, in that moment, they cherish you. So it's like that in Colombia. Is people suffer like I was telling you the other day. In Bogota, for example, we have the horrible traffic
Yeah, you
in
said
the
that.
whole Latin America. Like, you get to have to spend your whole life there inside a car, like just killing time in millions of cars. But people get home tired, and they manage to go outside again. And for me, that's you have to. Colombia, we are special. There has to be something that people is like willing to keep living, to
Yeah.
keep enjoying life. To, okay, let's go to the movies, let's go to this or there, or it's like, definitely we are the happiest people on earth. we don't lose hope easily. When we see the opportunity to be happy, we grab it, and even if it is just by, I don't know, a seconds of life, you 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 get it and you have it and you hold it near, and when it's over, okay, it's over. It's time to suffer again. But
That's amazing. You know what? I've loved talking to you so much is because your love for Colombia is like you wear it on your shoulder, and I love that I can feel that, and I see it in your eyes and how it sparkles, and it's just, sometimes when we have these podcasts, I'm unsure what the theme will be or kind of what, we talk about, oh, what should the title be? But for you, this was just such an easy, this is such a clear path that this is about your country that you love so much. How much do you miss it being here? Are you okay being away from Colombia?
I think we came here thinking that it will be good for our kids.
Yeah.
Like we already survived Colombia.
Yeah.
So we know how to be alive in Colombia and how to enjoy it. But maybe I wanted something different for them, in the sense it's hard because sometimes when you ask me what I miss the most in Colombia is the madness.
Right. Interesting.
Like,
yeah.
Like people all the time, like in the streets, like coming to you, selling you things.
Yeah.
There's always you as soon as I get to the airport, like I'm landing and I know I go into survival mode. I have to grab my phone, I have to everything, kids, and I became this totally different person because here I am all life can be taking time, it's okay. 5 minutes and I'm at work, 5 minutes and I'm back here having my lunch with my kids. And in Colombia, I'm always running. No, we have to go there. And if we are in certain place, we know we have to grab like what we need from that place, because coming back to that place maybe is not an option for another week or a month or
Right.
So if you go to the downtown, you have to, I have to go to the library and I have to go to this bar to buy something and I have to go to this store, and you are always
Yeah.
Here life goes more steady and slow.
A little more tranquilo.
Yes, so much. but that's what I miss the most, baby.
Yeah.
Because yes, in Colombia you get to be all in
Sure,
the
it's
present,
fun.
all the time.
Yeah.
You need to be there, because if you think too much, or if you fly, or you let your imagination, then you lost, you got robbed. So many things can happen that you need to be full.
Yeah. You got to be 100%.
Full senses.
Yeah. 100% on your game. Interesting. Well,
Exactly.
yes. After everything I've heard about Colombia, it's like on my list. I want to go. It sounds amazing.
Definitely.
You have been so generous with your time and helping us create this episode for Just to Know
Angela.
You.
Thank you.
I really, really appreciate it, and I think it would be fun to hang out sometimes. I play soccer, but we don't really have much of a soccer team here in RT. But if I lived in Daran, I'd for sure be on that team with you ladies. It would be fun.
It's so good. It will be a pleasure to have you. Thank you, Angela.
This has been really nice. I hope we bump into each other one day.
Thank you for listening to Just to Know You.
We would like to thank our amazing tech man, Mr. Kent Arimura, Sterling McDonald for the podcast music, and the SAES community. See you next time.
If you know anyone who you think has a great story to tell, we would love to hear about it. Please send an email to either Angela, Darian, or Kent.